a little behind, later than usual. That's partly due to the fact that my husband and I had to take our son to the train station this morning. He is off on a little weekly excursion, or a week-long excursion with his school, doing some kind of, I don't know, practical, in the world kind of stuff. They're going to be doing some work as far as regards to the field of study that he's in, which is gardening. So they're going to be doing like tree trimming and things like that. But off, into another town kind of thing. So yeah, we've been up for a while, but we had to see to make sure that he got on the train on time, and then we did some grocery shopping, and so we're just now back, just now kind of settled in, had a chance to kind of square everything away. So we are here finally. Good morning, Soccer Talk. Glad you could join us. And as the title to the broadcast indicates, we are going to attempt, and I stress the word attempt, another demonstration kind of thing. As you'll see, I'm kind of here. This is the top of my Protostar Sky Plaza building, and I have a dome on top. It's not the first dome in the game that has been built. Others have done it. But I think mine was among the first, I guess. It was kind of in a period of time where it seemed like everybody was doing one. But a lot of people ask me about it, like how I made it, in an effort to not only, learn the secret, but, just out of curiosity kind of thing. Morning, Maddie. Glad you could join us. So, as with most of the way I build, I did a lot of it just kind of, well, some of it I did just by eyeballing it. I just kind of guessed. And I'll explain more about my process later when we get into the demo. But as it happens, I had heard from another builder, Adelon, about Katya talking about how to use Katya's actual builder toolkit add-on in a way that you can quickly manufacture these glass cylinders, just a circle of glass, and then I guess, I don't know what the word is, like extrapolate or whatever, but from there it's just a short skip to creating a dome. So apparently he got kind of like a demo from her, and I happened to see her in game last week and mentioned it, and she says, hey, I can show you as well. She just assumed that I had done it that way for this one, which I hadn't. So she was kind of surprised and said, well, I'm happy to walk you through it. So I had her walk me through it. I took screenshots, asked a few questions, got some clarifications on stuff. And I'm hoping that I will be able to pass on the information to you in a way that others will be able to use it for their own creations, whether it be for a dome or, some kind of display or something that they want. Because all of my curved glass, that's all pretty much just me tinkering with it piece by piece by hand, sort of. Yeah, let's go ahead and guess we'll go to the tester plot that I'm going to use. It's just one of my alts that I recently got to level 14, so there's nothing on the plot. It's a perfect place for doing demo kind of things at the moment. So first we're going to show you how to, or try to show you how to make a glass cylinder, because that's what you're going to start off with. Katya says if you can grasp how this works, the rest is pretty much just kind of coming off of that. So, hopefully this works like it's supposed to. So I've written down all the steps. You can see I've got my little cheat sheet here, just so that I don't skip anything, because I do have a tendency to just kind of mess things up. But what you do is you start with a pillar. It doesn't have to be any particular pillar. I just use the Orem one because it's what I have. Um, and you set it up, make it all 0, 0, 0, just so that it's square. Um, you know, nothing weird about it, so that the angles are easier to see and understand, I guess. Hey Poi, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Excuse me. Okay, so you start with an orange pillar, and then because we're making a glass cylinder, you want to get your glass square. Now, she didn't like go into super detail. She just kind of went step by step, and of course, I can't see what she's clicking and stuff when she's doing these little hands-on demonstrations. And I didn't have her let me do it step by step as she walked me through it. I was just watching her place things, and she was telling me what she was doing. So some of this is just me filling in the blanks. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Maddie. Hold on. Let me, let's see. Here we go. I am so appreciative that you remind me about that. Gosh, I am so forgetful. It's awful. Okay, the tweet is out, or it will be here in a few seconds. Thank you again. Anyway, so like I said, I'm just kind of filling in the gaps that she didn't specify with how I would do it if I was in, well, obviously I'm working on it, but this is how I would kind of set things up. So I'm going to copy the transform of the pillar and put the glass in. And this is just to kind of line it up centered for my sake. And she says once you line it up, the distance between the pillar and the glass pane is irrelevant at this point. You can put it anywhere you want. And from what I understand, the way she worked this little demo out, the size of the glass doesn't matter either. What matters is how much or how many panes of glass in the cylinder you want to use, or the dome eventually. Well, I appreciate it, Maddie. You know, I don't do a whole lot of advertising myself, so, you know, word of mouth on that kind of thing with the tweets and the retweets is very helpful. Speaking of which, I did join the Top Streamers website. I actually have a little vote button, and it's on my Twitch channel page, but it's at the very bottom because I feel kind of weird asking people to vote. But, you know, if they happen to see it and click it, then, you know, yay me. But I think I'm not even listed until like I get 10 votes or something. So no biggie, but I just thought I'd put it on there and see what it did. Hey, Lyric, glad you could join us. Okay, so we have the pillar, we have the pane of glass, all of it's 0, 0, 0 right now. Like I said, distance doesn't matter, the size of the glass doesn't matter. That you adjust as we get into it. So the next step is to link the glass to the pillar. And if you're wondering what the little add-on that I keep having pop up and that I'm using quite a bit for this, that's Lament's, I think it's the Housing Toolbox Pro or something like that, just for interest's sake. All of the add-ons that I use for this, you know, for housing, I have listed on my Twitch channel page in the resources section, so you can, you know, click those out and find them yourself and give them a try. You won't be disappointed on that. Okay, so now I've linked it, the glass pane with the pillar. Then you're supposed to clone the pillar, the glass, clone the glass. And you can do that via Katya's, but I just do it here since it's handy. So now there's like 2 panes of glass there. One is linked to the pillar and the other one isn't. Then the idea is to decide how many panes of glass around you want your cylinder. And for this demonstration, we're going to go with 12. And you take that number, whatever number it is, and you divide that into the 360 degrees of, you know, the circle that you're working with. And since we're using 12, that comes out to 30. So it's a 30-degree increment. That's where the panes of glass will go. Now that's about as complicated as I can get. Eidolon uses a lot more precise bits with degrees and what do you call it, increments and things. And I should warn that I'm going to be eyeballing some things because there's just not a mathematical way that I've figured out comfortably to use. So it may not be perfect as opposed to Eidolon's masterful geometric designs and stuff. But if you get this basic concept and then any kind of math that you might have that I don't, you should be able to kind of really clean it up a lot better. But this is one way to get a quick result. So where was I? So we're doing 12 panes, and we know that we want to set the first one at 30 degrees. So we take the pillar and glass set, and we're going to rotate it at 30. So now you have that one. So we have the glass and pillar set at 30, and then we have the original here. Now this is where it kind of gets into not completely precise. What I do, or how I got it to work, was I start pushing these in relation to the pillar until they meet. Now you can resize the glass if you want it smaller, a smaller cylinder, or a bigger one. You size it how you want, but just for this particular demo, I'm leaving them just at the standalone 1 ratio there. So I'm just going to push and pull until I get them where I think they should be. Gosh, I hope this works. I've done this like, I don't know how many times this weekend, practicing, trying to make sure I get everything like it's supposed to be, and it looks fairly close. You can see it's not exactly accurate. There's a little bit of a gappy there. Let's see if I can fix that. Something like that. Pretty close. Kind of close. Okay, so now link the cloned glass, which that would be this one, to the rest of the set. So I link it to the pillar. And with the pillar selected, this is where Katya's is really going to come into play here. With the pillar selected, save its position by copying it to slot 1, and that's where this part comes in. I don't use it a whole lot, but it just really depends. Like for stairs and stuff, you're going to use it quite a bit. So we're on copy slot 1. We've got the set selected, and we're going to say copy that. Then we're going to select just the cloned, the single piece, the one that's, you know, originally there, and we're going to copy that to slot 3. So we go to slot 3 and we say copy. Next, we're going to select the pillar again, and this is where it gets kind of a little weird because I don't use these buttons very much. You select the pillar, so you have the full set selected again. You hit the target button, and then you select that you want it to auto-link. And then we're going to rotate this an additional 30 degrees. So we're going to put it at 60, like so, right? This just means that the slot 1, which was where it was originally, and the slot, the next position, we're showing like it's like a difference, but we're doing it as a set rather than a single item, if that makes sense. So and we're going to copy this to slot 2. So slot 1 has the 2 panes here, slot 2 has it here, so we're just telling it how much of an increment of a turn that we want it to make. Okay, so now with slot 3 selected, we're going to clone the original, and it should pop up right next to it. Now because we have the auto link selected, it automatically joins this set. So if I was to click it, it's already lit up. It automatically links, so you don't have to keep doing it individually yourself. Hit the difference button, I think. That turns it, and then you just repeat. You got it on copy slot 3, that's just the single pane. You say clone, it automatically links it. You say difference, clone, and you just keep doing that until you get the whole full circle. So once you get initially it all set up, it just becomes voila. So worked out pretty good. Actually, I think that's the first time it actually matched up really nice. But yay for getting it kind of right. So now you have a full cylinder of glass. Very quick once you kind of get the idea of how to set it up. It's just those first few steps that are a little, if you don't quite understand how, the concept of it, you have to really, like me, I have to follow my instructions almost to a T just so I get it, right on. So now you could take the set and save that as an actual set on the set manager. So like say if you want a tower of glass, you could just keep bumping it up, and you'd have your tower. Maybe you want this would be a way of I don't know, making a glass swimming pool or an aquarium or however you want to work it in. But that's the cylinder part. Now, Katya said that she didn't actually use this little trick to try it making a dome, but she guessed at how she would attempt it. And by her suggestions of how it would work, and me actually putting that into practice, I've kind of revised a few things of how she said. But according to the way the tools work, we should be able to take a piece of the cylinder and make a dome out of it. Before we do that, I'm going to try and explain how I made my dome, and you'll see the difference in the time it takes to do both versions. For the one that I did, what I started with was a dome, an actual solid dome. Because if I'm making a glass dome, I want it to be similar to, an actual dome. And since we had dome pieces, that seemed reasonable to use that as my guide. I actually used two. I had one on the ground for the circle shape, and this one I kind of used as just a guide to kind of get me started. And what I did was I took a piece of glass on the top and, well, I just kind of eyeballed it. This is where my eyeballing really, that's why it looks kind of wonky, my dome. If you really look close at it, it looks a little weird. But what I did was I just eyeballed the center of it, and like so. And then I had another pane of glass, which, let's see, fix this up so it's square. So I just did just like this, really loose and no mathematics involved at all, because I'm really horrible at math. And anything with numbers kind of scares me, so I avoid it like the plague. So then I had one at a right angle to that, and I put it at the edge of the dome, as I knew that's where I was wanting to put it. And of course I reduced the size so that it kind of matched with the edges of the circle better. And then what I did was I just took other glass panes and I joined the two, just tweaking here and there until I got it the size and the shape that it needed to be. Then when I had the full arch set up, Let me just make a quick one real quick, just for so you know what I'm talking about. This is going to be really rough because I'm not even. Let's just say my dome is just the 3 pieces here. So what I did was when I had the half made, and then I had the dome circle on the bottom to kind of follow along. What I did is I made a set out of this half. I duplicated it, and that way I had a full arch. Then I took the arch and then I flipped it at 90 degrees to that, and then at 45 degrees, and then I just kind of kept piecing it in until it made a full dome. That's how I made mine. It took a lot of time to do it. There was a lot of tweaking, turning it this way and that. So to be able to do it via the add-on is, I think, would be much better for folks if they can get the hang of that. So you can see the inaccuracy of it. That's why my dome has an otter shape as far as the design that's on it. It's not perfect, but I think the imperfections of it helps make it my own. Nobody else is going to have the same spacing and stuff that mine has. Anyway, so for the purposes of this, we're going to turn this back at the 90. It's basically turned the whole set, but just so it's nice and square. Okay, now the concept that Katia had as using the cylinder to make the dome, she said to use 1/4 of it and then to use that as your starter ringlet or whatever, and to turn it on the horizontal, and rather than rotating it around, I guess vertically or whatever, we would be doing it on the other axis. The problem with that is when you flip it, if you notice, the pivot point for the pillar is on the end rather than in the middle. So when you turn it, you lose that center mark. And I'm going to show you how I worked out how to kind of sort of fix that. What I do though is, rather than using 1/4, this is 12 pieces, but I think it works better with using 5 pieces of the 12 set rather than knocking it down to just 3. So what I did was, I think it was these pieces here, I'm going to syndicate, because otherwise they're going to be stuck in the ground, and I don't think that will. I'm hoping I'm doing this right, because I don't want to have to try and make it again. And before I flip it, I'm going to place a copy of the pillar there. And then I'm going to flip it over. So now we have that full curve. Like, I had to kind of build out of, fiddling with it myself. But now you've got it right there. Oh, wait a minute. Let's change that up. I forgot. I think I actually linked that other thing. Need to turn that off. Let's see. Well, let's just leave the 2 in there because I'm going to confuse myself if I don't. Okay, so we're going to put that at the right angle. So now we have the ones that we're using as the cylinder's guide to getting it right, and then we've got the upright one. And what I did, again, I'm eyeballing. I used the dome, and you want the other one to be in the center. So to get the center of the original, it's really bad how I'm doing this, I'm sure. Well, it's snowing where you guys are. It's not snowing here. Knock on wood. I thought it might. I might try, but thankfully it hasn't. Again, I know this is probably a horrible way of doing this, but okay, so that's my center of that. So I'm going to remove these. Whoops, I don't want to destroy it, I just want to send it to crate. And then I'm going to relink all of these up to this new cylinder or pillar thingy. Let's see, just for my own sake, I'm gonna put this in the center. It's kinda, sort of in the center there. Still don't like it. It's just me eyeballing it. I know it's not accurate, but hopefully if somebody else can figure out a better piece to use. I even tried, thought maybe the sporty sphere would have it in the center of both, but no, it's on the bottom of the ball for whatever reason, which is weird. Okay, so I'm going to link these up to the new pillar. You could probably do the link radius thing or whatever to make it quicker, but I like doing it by hand. Okay, so now we have our set, and I'm going to go ahead and sink this down so these are on the ground so you can kind of see a little better. Then it makes the doming. Now, rather than using the clone tool, we're just going to create a set of this. It's similar to how I did my dome, but the creation of the first arch is much quicker if you know how to set up a cylinder from the start. So we're just going to call this dome. We're going to link it. And then you just say place all in link. And then you, well, let me see. Should have been, oops. This one should be at the other. Make sure it's all lined up like you want it. So we're still doing it in kind of 30-degree increments. This one's at 90, so this one's at 60. So the next one should be at 30. I'm not standing there. And then it just keeps going on around. Now you could, in theory, remove the pillars and just place the set. That way you only have the one to contend with. The problem with that is all of these become unlinked then. But like I said, you could just use a radius thing to do that. So here you have, see, the last one was at 30, so this one should be at 0. Get rid of that. And then this one would be 30. And then the last one is 60. See, you can see it's a little imperfect, but that's partly because I eyeballed a lot of it. But for all intents and purposes, that's pretty quick result for a decent looking dome. And like I said, you can add as many panels if you want them to be really small and really intricate. You could do it with any number of panels. You just have to sort out the cylinder first and then go from there. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Going to see if I can get this all linked together. Oops, that didn't work. Oops, I forgot to place it. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Let's just grab one of these and we'll link it all together. So yeah, I should move it all. I could have selected, well, didn't link all of it because I think it's the radius. It's kind of a little borky. But like I could select the, whoops, I want the place list. Where's the pillar? Select the pillar and do the linking from that way. Maybe it'll catch it all that time. It's just because the pillar is behind the glass, it makes it a little awkward. Well, that's not working either. Oh boy. Anyway, you get the idea. You can link it up. Just ignore my fumbling. But so yeah, that's the glass demo. Like I said, it's not perfect, but that's partly because I eyeballed a lot of stuff. You can see even that one's like down below. It should be up above. Why is that thing sitting there? Um, there we go. But hopefully that's easy enough to follow along for those that want to try and give it a shot themselves. Like I said, the way I did it was before I really understood, and I still don't really fully understand some of the tools for Katya's toolkit as far as like the target and everything. I've never used that before. This is doing this demo over the weekend and today. That's really the first times I've ever used that button ever. So maybe as I get more comfortable, I'll utilize it more. Probably not. That's just how I am. But for those that really get the hang of it, I'm sure you will come up with some really beautiful designs, not just in glass, but anything. You could do that with anything, really. It's just, you know, it's like forming patterns with it. So yeah, that's that. And that would be the end of the demo. Not the end of the show, though. I'd like to revisit a couple places to show you guys what I did over the weekend. I kind of hopped here and there out of boredom partly, but also because I've been, you know, wanting to kind of add some things. And it looks like this thing is going to crash on me. Hold on. Yeah, it did. Hold on a second. Let me get this back up. I think it doesn't like me fiddling with KBT and then I suddenly go to a different plot and it goes borky. I think I have to remember to turn off the editor and then try it. I think Maddie mentioned that last time. Clearly I didn't remember, so. Just a minute and it will be back up, I promise. Okay, so we're loading back in. Funny how you can see how everything's kind of chunked in when it's first loading up. Um, a couple of things I did to the plaza over the weekend was I've been playing around with seating. It feels kind of empty in the main big area, so I was thinking about adding some sort of couches. So I kind of whipped up this little design in a few minutes. Um, I've tried similar things before, they never looked right, but I think I like how this one turned out. It's just dome cylinders and the curved half pipe pieces. Uh, it's like two sets to make the depth there. It's probably actually open on the bottom, but since the way that it's positioned, um, you can't really see it. But it's so you have opposing seats, and then I was planning on putting some kind of plants or something on either end. That's what the portable planters are for. I've also added in a little bit of the furniture that I put in on the Easter plot. I've brought over here, so now you see the white picket fence bench and chair on display in the chair shop. It's really the only things I've done that far. I am working on a new painting, but it's really in just the beginning bits, and I'm kind of fussing with it, so I've just kind of got it hidden off. You can't really see that yet. But as far as the Easter plot, I did add a few things to that. Those of you that follow my Twitter channel probably saw some glimpses of some of it, but I'm going to show you what all I added just to kind of get you up to date. I did add a few more WildStar throughout the property. I've added a sign and a beer keg with some glasses. The letters, if you're curious, those are just bananas. I actually have a bookmark page that it's called the banana font, and it shows you how all the letters are put together using bananas, and I use that as a guide when I'm writing with the bananas. So it almost kind of looks Chinesey, like Oriental font or something, but it's just a quick way of doing it. It's fairly visible from a distance, sort of. I think it's just mostly due to the size of the sign, but I actually put a little prop holder up, but it's just bananas, travel posters, and then a triangle for the back. Let's see, what else did I do? I added a few extra crates around the garden, the vegetable garden. I did work on a campsite, which is probably one of the bigger additions. I was playing around with different seating. I already had the Grannock seats here, and those are fine, but I wanted to come up with something else. So these are just a couple of water troughs upside down. And since it has those little legs on there, I thought, well, I'll just put some cushions. So it looks like little chairs or seats or something. A little awkward looking, but I thought, well, I'll just put it. It's a campfire, so. The campfire itself is just a Draken dome for the main base of it, and then I use hollow domes to trim it up, just 3 of them at different sizes. The fire is an actual Falcon fire pit, I think. Yeah, fire pit metal. Okay, fire pit metal. You can see it's just set in there. And then, of course, I made my own log pile, just varying sizes of the log, the green or brown, I guess, brown logs. The marshmallows on a stick is basically 2 snow clumps sandwiched together on the end of a green thorny log. That's it. The tent, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a tent or something else, but I decided to try a tent, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It almost looks like, the tent opening is just kind of folded back and everything, but all it is open books for not only the bottom, but for the sides as well. It's just size different and angled different ways. So it's just a book. It's a little pricey if you're short on Renown because it does cost 500 a book. But I had the Renown to spare, and so it worked out okay. I just tossed in a couple of pillows, and I even patched in the back so it's closed in. That's the only part that's a little wonky. If you really get up close, you can see that it doesn't match up perfectly, but it's close enough for my purposes. So. Um, just due to the nature that I use the same book for every bit of it, it even looks like a different color. It looks more blue, and over here it's more brown, but that's just the lighting. But and then I had a laundry line, so I've been wondering where I could put that. I didn't want to put it on the cottage because it looked a little tacky, but here it seemed fitting that maybe they're out camping and needed a place to hang their dirty clothes. Uh, on the house itself, I've added a few things, such as I've added a cellar entrance with a little bit of greenery back here. It's basically just 3 or 4 staircase landings to make the base of it. Then I used a couple of the wooden deck pieces to make the doors, and then the handles are just the handles of the metal crate. And of course the ferns is 2 ferns per clump here. What else? There was one more thing I think. Oh, I did a little bit of extra bits on the porch. I'm debating on whether or not I want some like flower, like those ones that you put on the edge of a fence, like a little trough of flowers. I'm debating on whether I want to do that. But I did add a birdhouse. It's basically just 2 oran clocks sandwiched together. Every now and then you see the little cuckoo pop out. Um, a couple of oran pillars for the perches. I originally had the pole fatter to cover up the moving heart and the little pine cone things, but my husband said it looked weird, so I just left it out, and it really doesn't bother me too much. It just looks like added decoration. And then for the holes, it's just the multi-valve tank. So now we have a cute little orange birdhouse for the birdies. The pole itself is just the same 2x4 logs, and it's like 2 or 3 of them. They're just sized down, and I've stuck them end to end, and that's all there is to that. I've been thinking, do I want to add like some kind of ivy kind of thing growing up it? I really don't know how I would do that, but we'll see how that works. So yeah, just little details I've been adding in here and there. Uh, I did, oh, the thing we're going to probably finish today is the orchard. I wanted to put an orchard in, as Maddie suggested, or it might have been Soccer that suggested it. Somebody did. And I thought, well, rather than just go normal, I'm going to make my own tree. I like doing that custom stuff, so I'm always looking for opportunities to kind of try something different. So what I did is I took a thorny green log as the base of the tree, and then I've just tacked on a ton of these drooping gorge fruits. They're a craftable item, so as long as you have access to a crafter or you're a crafter yourself, they're easy to get a hold of. And I've just rotated them, changed the height. They're all the same size. I didn't really modify that too much, but just kind of made a little tree out of it. And then I have a little bucket with some of the berries or whatever you want to call them in the bucket. So this will be the orchard. And if I remember correctly, let's see. Yeah, I've got a gorge fruit tree copied over already. I think I'm going to just clear that and uh, save the set from here, just so that I've got it set up. And of course, whenever I make a new set, I always do a reload UI just to make sure that it's saved. And like I said, you'll notice that as I work on things, the set names and stuff will change. Like right now, we've got a lot of Easter plot on her list here. But I've already started saving them into document files using the, like say I want to save the birdhouse as an actual set, or maybe I want to copy it to a different plot or something. I already have a file where you just click it, do your Control C for copying, and then you put it in a document file, and then later, even if I remove it from here, I can import it later and still have it. So that's why I've been clearing out some of these, and you'll see them. Well, thanks. Maybe I'll pass along the code to you later, boy. I don't know. But so what I'm going to do is, I think I have enough for 4 more trees. I think I wanted to keep it at an odd number as usual. Let's see, where is that thing? There we go. So I'm just going to say place all in link. Now I confidently hit that, assuming that I already had everything in the inventory. Um, But really, when you do something like this with something that you know is crafted or maybe comes with renown, you want to double check that. And how you do that is you have the set open and you hit the question mark. And you can't see it on the stream, but in your chat box, it will tell you to cover everything not in your crate. You need this. It'll name off the items. It'll tell you how much money you need, and it'll tell you how much renown you need. But mine's reporting that I have everything at hand. So if I want to make a new set, I just place on a link and place another one. Let's do that. I'll probably rearrange these in a bit. I'm going to check again just to make sure. It says it's good to go, so I'm going to place link another one. And then I'm going to check it again. Still good, so I've got it enough for a 5th tree. We'll just put him right around there somewhere. Now, if I'm checking it again, I shouldn't have everything I need now. I should have used up all the materials that I made. And that's what it's telling me. It's telling me I need 9 drooping gorge fruit to be able to make another tree if I want. So always, when you're doing something like that, always check just to be sure. Because if you try to make it and you don't have everything, it'll just kind of error out. And rather than, have that happen, just double check. It's always smart anyway to do that. So now I'm looking at my orchard here, and I think I'm gonna rearrange just a little bit. I don't want it to be exact, but then it kind of looks a little funny if I don't. So I'm gonna bring this one out here. I think I'll leave that one like it is. So it's not exactly a little 5 on the dice kind of thing, but there you go. You could add a ladder if you want, as if whoever's out here working on it actually needs a ladder to get up to the tippy top, the sweetest fruits. That looks about right for her. Now you have a ladder on your tree and you can collect all your stuffs. So, I can't remember what else we talked about, and I'm looking for my notes, and I, of course, no idea where I put them. Got too much paper on my desk. So yeah, I'm not sure what else we might want to add to this. I don't want to just fill up every space. I do want it to feel kind of like not a meadow per se, but you know, some open areas. I don't want it all boxed in or filled up. I still think I'm going to fill in some trees in the back here a little bit more. I don't know if I'm going to do that with some extra clumps of the bramble here and there, and then fill in some of the gaps with just single trees, or what. I haven't decided on that. Oh, I did add some smoke effects to the chimney up here. That was something else I did. It's just 3 bubbling cauldrons that you get from the housing vendor. There is the witch's brew that works as well, but this one does the same thing, and it's directly off the vendor, so that's pretty. Oh, really, soccer? Well, I'll be interested to see your shop plot. It's just a fun concept, I think. There's a lot of city builds out there that kind of do it, but they can't dedicate fully to it because, you know, they got all that other stuff that makes up the town. And it's just a kind of a fun idea. I think I uh, overestimated that I would probably be changing out the furniture and all of the decorations and stuff a little bit more regularly in the shops. But because I work on other things too, I just get sidetracked. And so what I've been doing, like with the furniture from here, as I make pieces, I'll uh, kind of bring them over. Like I still have the table to add to the table shop. Um, I'll probably do that later today. Just things like that. You know, I'm not going to bring in every single thing that I make, like the little archway kind of deal and the water well and stuff. That's probably just going to be to that. But I might actually. Oops. Hold on a second. Ah, it's my son. Let me know if they arrived safely. Just gonna leave him a quick message here. I'm like so bad at spelling this thing. And the autocorrect really hates me. Whoops. Love joy. So yeah, he's made it to his destination in one piece. Yeah, see, that's another concept. I mean, uh, for some, like with Flower, they have their piano shop and they use it to showcase things that they're offering up for sale. You know, they actually exchange either, you know, by exchanging gifts of decor, or people pay plat for it. So that's a good way to showcase that. I've seen shops that showcase like it'll be an architect and they want to show people what all they can make. So then they have that on display. I think that was the concept between some of the like the cat IKEA and stuff originally, and then it stemmed off into things that they actually custom built. And that's what I kind of prefer mine to be, is just showing off custom built things, just changing it up. It's a way to kind of, you know, if I got rid of this plot, then still some of the furniture and stuff will live on elsewhere for a little while. But like I said, a lot of the things that I'm building, I'm saving sets for so that I can recall it later in case someone asks about it, or if I want to show it as an example for something, that kind of thing. One other thing I did add was I did install a mailbox Basically, it's the Draken mailbox that's shrunk down small and inside the Hugel here, so that it actually looks like it functions, but it's just I put a cardboard box and some of the uh, notes in a bottle into the eyes to make it look like the owl head is used as the mailbox part. A little, I guess, uh, like defacing it, but that was the only idea. And I happen to have one of the awake models of the thing, so it kind of fit because it's like the little black holes. So yeah, there is a functioning mailbox on the plot now, and I decided to just put it up here. For me, it made more sense to have it down here. Um, let's see, yeah, I think that's it. I think, I think that's it. But yeah, the shop idea is really fun. I think it'll be a great thing. Look forward to seeing how you put it together. I'm already working on a new plot. For those of you that remember what used to be on this one, I used to have the bingo hall and the swimming pool. I'm in the process of rebuilding the bingo hall. I'm kind of keeping it on the down low because, again, it's going to be guild related. Um, so I kind of want to surprise them with the new building because the one I built before was okay, but I'm kind of updating it, I guess, making it look a little bit more fancy and playing around with different materials that I don't normally use for floors and things. So anxious to see how that turns out. But it's just a project for myself for now. Um, but yeah, if you've got any suggestions about any other things that I could add in here besides the forest and that kind of thing, I'm open to discussion on that. And but it looks like we're coming close to the end, unless I come up with another big idea of some sort uh, on this. I don't really want to get too much more into it because, like I said, I need to have enough decor to place to suit the eggs. I already know the number I'm going to be using, which I'm not going to disclose. Um, but I'm looking forward to being able to place those out. That will be on I think it's the 19th and 20th that weekend. So for those of you that are watching and that might be curious about hunting the eggs for yourself, you'll be welcome. It's going to be open to the public so that it's easy for all of my guildies to visit. They don't have to neighbor me or anything, but you'll be free to come around and take a look for yourself. Uh, just don't post where you find them. Don't tell on the forums or on Twitter or whatever, because I want my guildies to kind of have to work for it, work for their prizes or whatever. So, so yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. This week is probably going to be a little sketchy. I'm not confident that I will be doing a stream tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. Partly that is because um, with my son gone, uh, my husband has decided to take a week off, so we're going to be, doing some uh, shopping and stuff that we normally don't get a chance to do, things like that. Uh, so my schedule's a little funky up now. Um, Picnic blanket. Well, I already did one of those for the Valentine's plot, so I'm not sure if I want to do that again, but that's an idea. I'll write it down just for if I can find my pen. Where's my pen? Oh, there it is. My pen. I'm going to write it down, and if I think of a different way of maybe approaching a blanket kind of thing, I'll uh, look into making it. So thank you, Koi. But we will be doing the tours for Wednesday. That's always a given that we'll be doing that, which is probably a good thing because if you hadn't noticed in the forums, Niliana actually made an announcement that Their Holy Housing, it's like Housing Holy Cupcake, or is it Holy Cupcake? I can't remember the order. I think it's Housing Holy Cupcake. Their house tours is basically discontinued. She got a new job writing for a fan site, I think. Covers TV shows and stuff, and they will no longer be doing the tours. So you'll have to get your tour fixed with just little old me for now. But it's unfortunate because I think that would have given some opportunity to the entity side to get more of theirs shown. There used to be something called, I think it was Yardcore or something Yard. I'm not sure I got that name right. They used to do some videos for entity side, but I haven't seen any new ones lately, so I don't know if that's kind of gone bye-bye as well. Um, I'm reluctant to get involved on entity side touring because I have so much keeping me busy already, and I don't want to kind of spread myself too thin. But one day I may be convinced to get over there and start showcasing some of theirs, but I don't really see that happening anytime soon. So in the meantime, we will continue with the EU tours every week. I'm not even sure what's this week. Is it X? It's Dominion, isn't it? Gosh, I'm so disorganized right now. It's pathetic. Yeah, I think it's Dominion's turn this week. So hopefully I'll have several homes. I think I've got like three homes on the list at the moment to be toured. I have actually tons more, but most of them are like incomplete or stuff like that. So yeah, please, Dominion. And thanks, Soccer. I appreciate that. You know, I think different approaches to that kind of a project suits different people. The way I do mine probably doesn't suit everybody, but that's okay. That's why you have various streamers. It's like we have tons of people that, or I say tons, we have several people that showcase leveling or rating, but people will have their favorites or the ones that they prefer to watch. Maybe. Uh, their demeanor is a little tamer, or maybe they prefer the one that's cursing up a storm or something. But yeah, I was happy to promote Nilia's efforts, but I think they did it twice. I think it was just the two shows, one showcasing some from their guild mates, and then I think they hopped onto Dominion Entity once. I'm pretty sure they got Adelon's plot on there, uh, amongst others. But it's just one of those things. It is kind of a time-consuming thing because you have to go through the plots yourself first off, look and see if there's actually enough. I aim for plots when I show them on the tours. I aim to make sure there's plenty to talk about. If it's just one little thing in the middle, it's like, well, some of those, that's why sometimes I have like 6 or 7 in one show because, maybe a couple of them, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. Well, that's how a lot of them were, especially in the beginning. They just set it to music. And myself as a builder, I was always curious as to what those pieces were that I was seeing. And especially when it was a plot that I didn't have access to, like when before I hopped onto Dominion side, or for those that are on Entity side, I always was curious about what those pieces were, and so I try to be a little helpful in that regard. I don't know it all. There's a lot of pieces I don't recognize, but it's fun to speculate. I think this is what it is, but it could not be that, and stuff like that. But I appreciate you guys showing the support and the appreciation. Your appreciation, I appreciate your appreciation. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. Thanks, you guys, for joining. I hope the demo that we did earlier was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to explain it any better than I tried to show it. But definitely, if you want to get in touch with Katia and maybe even Alan, he would probably be more than happy to kind of explain his method of doing it. It's a lot more, to me, it's more math intensive. He breaks it down pretty good, though. It's just for my little wee brain. I lost the capacity for higher brain function like eons ago. So it's just, it sounds like a foreign language to me, or it looks like Greek, you know. I was like, ugh, I don't know what that is. Even though he really gets into detail of how it works. Um, but I'm sure either one of them, but definitely Katia for sure. She would be happy to kind of explain that out. And maybe, if enough people ask, maybe she will set up some demos herself where she can clearly show how it all works and the proper way to do it and everything. Like I said, mine didn't turn out perfect, but it was pretty quick. I mean, you saw how quickly, you know, once you get past the having to say the steps, if you just kind of know, okay, I need to do this, 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 and this, and this, and then it's really fast and everything. So a lot more efficient than my method for sure. Mine was like, you know, what, and like turn it, and it took me hours to set that thing up. But you know, uh, whatever works best for you. And hopefully, with a little bit of that knowledge and figuring out how to use that target and the auto link functions, you guys will be able to come up with some really amazing stuff. Thanks, Lyric. I appreciate that. So yeah, you guys have a great day. Good luck with your own projects. And I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.